All right, great. So let's talk about one of the most, at least projected to be one of the most exciting matchups in the second round of the playoffs is the Warriors and Lakers. So I guess first and foremost, who do you think is going to win the series? I think a lot of folks are going to go back and forth about this. It's a tough series to kind of gauge because, in my opinion, I think both teams have shown inconsistencies throughout the season and even within the series that
Yeah.
they played.
I will say this. This series is tough to call. I think we already spoke on this like multiple times, and we spoke on this in the last podcast too, is if both teams ended their series in 6 games, the Warriors would have the clear advantage, right? Just because the Lakers, especially AD and LeBron, are struggling in between games to recover and get ready for the next game, right? So the Warriors would have had that advantage. Now, in this case, Warriors finished their series in 7. They have a little over 2 days of rest. Lakers had 4 to 5 days off. I do see the series going 7. I will say that I feel like at least 3 games will be blowouts. And the reason why I say that is because if this series has the same pattern, if the Lakers have a similar pattern that they did with the Grizzlies, where AD plays well every other game, if LeBron plays well, not every other game, but let's just say 4 or 5 out of the 7-game series, he plays well, right? He's just because, he kind of picks his moments a lot more than he used to. I feel like those games where an AD and or LeBron don't play well, those will be blowouts. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the Warriors have had a habit of just, not taking certain games seriously, right? Not just this year, but last year and throughout their entire run. They've had this bad habit. So I will say that I do envision at least 3 blowouts. For me, I do believe that the Warriors have the advantage just because most of the Lakers role players, they have little to no experience playing against the Warriors, especially across multiple games over a 1.5 2 week span. Like, even though Hachimura has been in this league for a while, even though Schroeder has been in this league for a while, they've been on the East Coast. And even when they were traded to the West Coast, because Schroeder came to the Lakers and to the Suns, the last 2 or 3 years, those years, Clay and Curry and Draymond were hurt. So he didn't even get to play against the actual Warriors, right? Reeves, obviously, even though Reeves, I think, will be more consistent, he hasn't played against the Warriors much either. So I feel like the kind of lack of experience of knowing how to play against the Warriors will become a bit of a shock to some of the Lakers role players. I don't think Looney will be able to defend AD as well as he did against Sabonis because AD is just more skilled, to be quite frank.
Yeah, significantly more skilled.
Yeah.
Minus the playmaking, I think AD is a completely better player than
Sabonis. Yeah. So I do think that the Warriors have the advantage because of the experience. Now, LeBron and AD can make up, especially LeBron can make up for any lack of experience that the Lakers may have, right?
Yeah.
But just because, based on what I saw in the first round, I don't know if the longer that the series goes, the more it benefits the Warriors, just because we've seen that AD and LeBron can't sustain, 10 to 14 days of a playoff series without picking up some nicks and knacks, right? So with all that being said, I do think that the Warriors will win in 7. However, I do think that the Lakers will not have as difficult of a time rebounding the ball as the Kings did, just because the Lakers definitely have more size.
No, I definitely agree. Though I would argue in regards to the exhaustion that the players play. I think some of the games that the Lakers did play against the Grizzlies were pretty close games. Like specifically, the game I
The
wanted
OT game.
was Game 4,
Yeah.
because like that took a lot out of LeBron and AD just to get just because I remember AD had a bad game, but he in the late I believe in overtime he started he started playing well towards the end, and LeBron making those big shots both to tie the game at end of regulation, and then making that big layup over Dylan Brooks in overtime to essentially seal the game. So it depends on like how many tough games they have to play, which ultimately factors in how fatigued they will be. And but in addition to that, I also wanted to mention in regards to travel with the Lakers, like they don't have to fly all the way to Memphis. It's like they just fly the Bay Area, like from LA to the Bay Area is only like
they're 3.5-hour flights now, 1 hour flight.
Right. Which you can say this time, like how much will a couple hours make, considering how much wear and tear their bodies have taken over their career. I think it makes a big difference for both the Warriors and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Well, the Warriors didn't have to. Sacramento's not that far away from the Bay Area, but for the Lakers, I think that it can help them. But overall, I do believe that ultimately, I feel like the Warriors are going to win in 7 as well, or even maybe in 6. I think despite both teams being fairly inconsistent, it really just depends on how well Curry can continue, I guess, carrying this team offensively.
Yeah, I mean,
because Poole, the thing is, like, if Poole had played a lot better, then they wouldn't have to rely on Curry as much, because I think Clay is doing his job. He's doing his role. He's playing fairly well, averaging around 20 points a game, which is what we would expect from him. But Poole had some awful games with just a ton of turnovers, and he's breaking shots.
Yeah.
So it's just it's like a double whammy with Poole. So I mean, we'll see, depending on how well he plays as well. So if Poole can can contribute at least, and if he can average around 20 points a game this series, right?
Yeah,
I think it's easier for the Warriors to win because there's just less reliance on Curry, having a big game.
Yeah, I don't think Poole has to average 20. I just think he has to limit his mistakes. Like, he plays, compared to last year, he plays very out of control.
Very reckless.
Like even in I want to say it was game 7. But there was 2 fast breaks where he literally, like, there was one possession where he got a steal. There was not a fast break. It was 2-on-3. And at the last second, the third defender who was guarding, I think it was DiVincenzo that was running with Poole. The third defender joined to do a triple team on Poole on a fast break, and Poole still shot it. Right. So it just plays like that, where like he just needs to limit his mistakes, just play within the offense. And then he can average he could literally average 15 points by just playing within the offense.
That's true, but also I think efficiency is also a factor as well. Like he's relatively efficiently, like he can't be having, I forget that one game he was like 3 and over 10 shots or something like that. It was not a good game, and just you can't have that, especially against like a pretty young team in the Lakers now, believe it or not. So it's like
Who are the X factors, do you think, in the series?
For me, I think the Warriors, in my opinion, it's gonna have to be the play of Poole, because if I feel like it would be, the Warriors might be able to win sooner if Poole plays well, actually. But it's easy pick. And then you can argue Looney, but I think going against AD is going to be a lot more challenging.
Agreed.
Than going against Sabonis.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Looney is going to have the same amount of rebounding success and defensive success he's had. But for the Lakers, it's tough because they have a lot of like pretty solid role players, honestly. I feel like it's tough. Depending on how he sees things. So I feel like if Reeves continues playing as well as he has, it's not really an X factor because you kind of expect that out of him.
Yeah.
But I would kind of think about like the impact of Schroeder,
Mhm.
and Roy Hachimura.
Yeah.
Because Roy is a pretty big guy.
Yep.
And it gives the Lakers like this versatile size because he's kind of like a tweener-ish in
Yep.
size wise, which can give him the advantage over the smaller Warriors.
Yeah. I think I
So
totally
I don't
agree
know.
with you
In terms of
there.
one person, I feel like Roy would have. If I had to pick one person, I would probably pick Roy just because of his size and his role.
You mean Rui?
Roy, yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, yeah.
For me, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna play because he's very okay. So my suspicion of why Kuminga did not play against the Kings is Kuminga, his one of his weaknesses in general is he doesn't react quick enough. Right? He doesn't react on both ends. On deep okay, no. Let's get back. On offense, he doesn't react quick enough. And on defense, he's good defensively in a half court setting, playing on a one-on-one defense, but against an offense that's very fast-paced ball movement, Kuminga does not react well defensively. I think that's my suspicions on why he did not play. Now, in terms of the Lakers compared to the Kings, the Lakers are much more of a half-court team, and quite frankly, the Lakers just have more size. Like AD and LeBron alone, provide a lot more size than Alex Len and Sabonis. And Rui has a fair amount of size too, and Vanderbilt as well. Very, very both athletic and strong.
Right.
So I do think that if I had to guess, I'm not 100% sure. If I had to guess, this matchup against Lakers fits Kuminga's skill set more so than the Kings. So I do think that Kuminga will play maybe like a 15 minutes, but 15 minutes just to put a body on LeBron or Rui or Vanderbilt can go a long way because they're Looney and Draymond Green were just playing against Sabonis and Alex Len.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to be able to play against AD, LeBron, at times Rui and Vanderbilt. They're just going to get worn out. So I do think that you will see Kuminga for maybe about 12 to 15 minutes per game. That's just my assumption. So for the Lakers, in terms of X factor, it has to be D'Angelo Russell, man. Like, just because, like, what made the Kings so difficult for the Warriors is that Fox and Monk, they pushed the ball even on made baskets from the Warriors, like made a basket, they pushed the ball, they drove the ball, they were just creating their own shots. They put a lot of pressure on Steph and Clay to guard the ball. That's why like Draymond eventually had to guard Fox because Steph is just getting worn out defensively, right? So if Russell is not making shots, and I say Russell because I think Reeves is very consistent. I think he'll average a solid like 18, 4 and 4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like I was thinking about D'Lo, but I was like, I feel like D'Lo should be able to play a little bit better because I think defensively, I don't know, unless they have Clay play.
Yeah, I don't know what the matches will be, but I feel like if D'Lo is struggling, then I feel like it will be difficult for the Lakers to keep up with the Warriors because
they'll probably bench him for Schroeder. I mean, that's what they did late game.
Like because because that the Warriors will probably double AD, right? And maybe they'll double LeBron. I don't know. Or maybe I think
depending on how aggressive LeBron is. Like if LeBron is aggressive, I think they'll double it. If he's playing sometimes he's really passive nowadays. So if he's playing passively, probably single coverage works. But if LeBron is attacking the rim, you definitely need to double.
Yeah. So I do think that if the Lakers are going to win, they need Russell to.
Yeah, they do.
He has to shoot like at least like 38% from three, right? And he kind of similar to Poole, he has to be better with his decision making as well. I know he hit like 4 threes in like game 6 and 3 threes in the third quarter, and that kind of was allowed the
I believe.
Yeah, game 4 or 5, I forget which game it was, and allowed Lakers to kind of like get ahead and win and stuff. But man, like there's times when you watch Russell and his decision making is not that great either. So he can hurt the Lakers just as much as he can help them at times, right?
Yeah, but I don't think he's as much of a liability to the Lakers as like Poole was to the Warriors in the last series.
I would agree. He's more willing to spot up and shoot. He's not. Poole is very more willing to get into his bag and really try to break down the defense and drive. And he usually makes a mistake here and there because he's overly aggressive.
To be fair, like D'Lo's also more of a he's a vet now. He's been in the league for 10 years now, or almost dang near 10 years, I think.
His rookie season was Kobe's last season, so he's
I take that back.
He's been he's been in a league a good 8 years. Yeah,
8 years.
this is 8th year.
Okay, 8 years. Yeah, 8. That's still a long time in the league. So
Yeah.